One day in 1997, Jake informed me with great pleasure that he'd hired a promising young woman for a strategic position in his firm. She'd been a finalist with two other men, and with my voice ringing in his ears, he decided to take a chance on her. They were all equally qualified on paper, he told me. But after years of listening to your feminist rants, I convinced my boss that since women face so many barriers in tech, she had actually worked harder to get where she was than the men in the pool. I was struggling through my first year of graduate school at the time, and Jake's news warmed my heart. I'd made a little difference in the world. Over the next few years, the woman proved herself clever, competent, and hardworking. Jake's company gave her a 3-month paid sabbatical for some additional training, grooming her for a promotion. Then she announced that she was pregnant. The startup had no formal maternity leave policy, but Jake asked his boss to give her 12 paid weeks to stay at home with her baby and make childcare arrangements. Jake argued that they had already invested so much money in her training that a 12-week leave would pay for itself in the long run. His boss reluctantly agreed. The woman returned to work after the birth of her baby and tried her best to keep up with the demands of a small startup. But she was nursing, and the baby kept her up at night. She would attend meetings bleary-eyed and unprepared. She called in sick when the nanny didn't show. She found a place in a good nursery, but if her son got sick, they sent him home. Her husband traveled for business, and she had no family in the area. Jake, always the optimist, believed that things would improve once the child was older. He even offered to babysit in a pinch. His star employee managed to hold on for 6 months. Then she quit. That night, Jake called me to share the news. Dejected and frustrated, he told me, "I'm never hiring another woman again." "But she's just one woman," I said. "Not every woman is going to make her choice." "There's no way my boss will let me," he said. His voice was low. "And it's the baby thing. I can't be sure of anything about any employee, but I can be certain that a man won't have a baby." I think I hung up on him. But it really wasn't Jake's fault. What could he do in a system that provides no support for women when they become mothers, that forces women to choose between their careers and their families? Economists call this statistical discrimination. The basic idea is that since employers can't directly observe the productivity of individual workers, they can make observations about demographic characteristics that are correlated with worker productivity. They make decisions based on averages. If women are more likely to quit than men for personal reasons, employers assume that any given woman is more likely to quit than a man. Economists observe that the theory of statistical discrimination can create a vicious cycle. If women are, or used to be, more likely to quit, they will be paid less. If they are paid less, they are more likely to quit. This vicious cycle provides a very good justification for government intervention.